Hey everyone, the Guitar Hero Live Nerd here. I've just hit 300 subs and I'd like to say thank you to every one of you for subbing and sticking around. I thought that I needed to do a sub special as I've not done one yet. 300 seems like a good number to start with one. Now I know this game is not really special to everyone, but I thought we would get a deep look into something that's not talked about much. I'm talking about the drum chants in the whole Guitar Hero Live setlist if you've never seen anything about them or heard about it. Here is a look into the drum chants in the game Guitar Hero Live. Back in the day we did not know anything about chart files for Guitar Hero Live, as they were in a file called .far files, so we did not know anything about the charts until Maxton created a tool that let you read the .far files, which he also did the internal research into the chart files at the beginning, which would be very helpful later on. Anyway, we were finally able to see what was in the chart files. There were 5 chart files in there in XMK format. They were control.xmk, guitar 3x2, touch guitar, vocals, and touch drums. It was then we found out the drum charts existed, which was called touch drums, which from what we can tell the name would be something for touchscreen devices, which I believed was going to be an iOS exclusive to GH Live for touchscreen devices, which I do feel like I remember once one of the devs saying there was an iOS exclusive feature coming soon. Sadly, it seems there was nothing really coming out of this, and GH Live was slowly fading away, with almost no information on how the drums charts worked, no XML code or code related to the drums. It seemed like we were never going to find out how these drum charts worked. Would the drum charts be on GHTV? How would the kick work if there were notes? I thought we were never going to find out, until someone named Pigment Guts made a converter that converts XMK files to MIDI, with all the raw MIDI lanes intact, which he used Maxton's internal research to help create the converter. It was then when we found out that 5 MIDI lanes were used for drums, with 3 difficulties charted, which 1 lane was used for the kick, 1 for the snare, 2 for cymbals, and 1 that seemed to be used mostly for toms. Anyway, here's a preview of what they would have looked like. I've done it in Clone Hero so it's easy to visualize. I'll be quiet for a bit so you can have a look. As you could see, there was also toms and stuff that was cymbals, so obviously it was just made to be fun for a touchscreen device. It's kind of a shame this feature was cut. It would have made playing GH Live on iPad more interesting and something different to do instead of playing it on guitar. It's hard to imagine how much work and effort would have been put into these charts just to mostly get wasted, though the biggest shocker was coming. On the August of the 7th, the first GHTV chart was ripped, which I originally thought was only going to contain the main charts, but to my surprise, it also included a drum chart. Every single GHTV song on release had a drum chart, all the way up till the Wolf Mother pack, which is a lot of songs with drum charts that never ended up getting used, which also makes me wonder how the quality of the charts are for GHTV compared to GH Live. As GHTV there would have been no stems. Also, something I forgot to mention before is that it seems like the charts also use a lot of drum fills instead, which I guess they mostly decided not to chart the whole drum fills as they could be pretty difficult on a touchscreen. But from what I can tell from these drum charts, they are pretty basic. Like if you were to convert these to Rock Band, it would take a lot of effort to clean up and fix. It's hard to imagine how much effort and work would have been put into these charts, just to never end up being in the game. Which sadly, vocals was another useless feature in Guitar Hero Live, which wouldn't let you play solo or anything to do with the vocals. You always had to have the guitar on for it to work. So that's kind of another thing that was charted that never really got used that often, which I want to thank Freestyle Games for all the effort they put into these markups, which sadly I wish the drums were used. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully you enjoyed this informational video on the drum charts in the game Guitar Hero Live. If GH Live ended up releasing this as an iOS only, would have you given it a shot or left it alone? Let me know in the comments below. GH Live Nerd out.